Hello, everyone. I am Melanie Escobar, and welcome back to my podcast. And today we will be talking about the history of the Silk Road. Some of the overall themes we will be looking at in today's podcast is what the Silk Road is, where in the world we will focus on, the 3 different shops in the market, the different types of people who go to these markets, and the overall impact these markets made in our world today. If you want to listen to more of my podcasts, you can listen to my other one about the Sino-Japanese War that was also for a history project. Now, let's get our history on. Now to start, I'll give a brief history on the Silk Road. The Silk Road is a trade route formerly named the Trans-Asian Trade Route that connects China and the Far East with the Middle East and Europe. It is famous for being the longest trade route in human history, and as well for impacting a lot of our culture today. According to Robert Spelger's book, The Fruit from the Sand, the Silk Road helped develop some of the common foods and places, such as dumplings in Chinese cuisine. Speaking of China, we will now be talking about the location of one of the markets for the Silk Road, specifically in Shanghai, China. As stated by Spelger, Shanghai is on China's central coast, and in the 13th century, China was under Mongol rule due to the Yuan Dynasty. According to Chen, author of The Capital of the Yuan Dynasty, the dynasty was established by Mongol nomads that ruled from the early 13th century till the end of it. Many rulers wanted riches, and with the trading on the Silk Road, they were able to get them from other places. And because Shanghai was extremely populated, many other citizens were able to get different goods and services as well. According to the University of McGill's Student Research Group, Shanghai became populated and commerce flourished during the 13th century, and was originally known as a water town due to its location being at the midpoint of the Chinese east coastline. The impact of it being a water town influenced the city's civic structure and urban planning, and during this time in Shanghai, many market towns developed, as well as temples in the 13th century. According to Candace Song in her article, What Was Traded on China's Silk Road and Why?, one of the biggest shopping areas in Shanghai is Nanjing East Road. It has grown to be one of the busiest shopping streets, which is where one of the markets we will be discussing was located in. It had many casinos and places to shop, which made it a great place for markets to be located in, because there were many people in the area. Now, one of the markets that we will be talking about today was located in Nanjing Road, the Gold and Silvers, which sold different types of jewels and jewelry, such as jade, coral, pearls, diamonds, and obviously gold and silver. According to Spengler, they would have also sold gemstones, such as carnelian and topaz, and they would have sold them in different shades to attract people. The market sold jewels on their own or in jewelry form, such as bracelets, necklaces, or earrings. People also saw gold and silver coins valued more as jewelry rather than currency, so the range of what was considered jewelry would have been different than what we consider jewelry today. But jewelry was also expensive on the Silk Road compared to other commodities. But the most expensive item on the Silk Road was silk. Not surprising. Some ideas of what the shop would have looked like is that it would have been set up outside in a busy area, possibly near street corners or in public areas with a few tables, and a tent covering the table in case of rain or obvious weather changes. Jewelry would have been set up on the table for people to look at and view the range of options. Often enough, when shopping on the Silk Road, bargaining for cheaper prices wasn't uncommon, and people would often come to trade or buy jewelry. However, it was more often that rich people bought jewelry rather than common citizens. The gold and silver market would have been very popular in Shanghai because, as stated earlier, China was under Mongol rule, and rulers wanted riches, so it was common for more wealthy people in the area to come buy jewelry from this market. According to Dr. Nagapal, who wrote the article Significance of Jewelry in the Silk Road Studies, lots of gold and silver went east during the time of the Silk Road. Even crusaders were interested in the jewelry and loved jewels from Central Asian region. Although jewelry was one of the main products sold in this market, there were other shops as well that sold different commodities. And this market that I'll be talking about sold paper, and the shop was called the Paper Place. It was also located in the same area as gold and silvers, but this product was much cheaper than jewelry. The reason for selling paper as well was because you were able to get more customers through selling a variety of different things for a variety of different people, both rich people living in Shanghai, but also common citizens. The paper that was sold at the market would have been wrapping paper or paper for writing. Paper would have been sold at markets before factories opened, and as stated in Dr. Sen's lectures, paper originated in China, and it was traded and used often, so it was fairly cheap. It also spread globally to different places, such as Europe. Paper on the Silk Road made a massive change globally as people began to write and use it more. Because paper was cheap, it wasn't just the rich coming to buy it at this market, but also regular citizens who had the money. So there were many different types of people coming to this market, rich rulers as well as Chinese citizens, and it was common to buy, trade, and sell paper. Another shop in this Silk Road market was the Woolen Works, which sold woolen goods, which was a common item to sell on the silk market, and it was popular in the East because, as stated by Song, woolen goods came to China from Central Asia and the Eastern Mediterranean. These products impressed a lot of people because they were unfamiliar with the methods of wool processing and carpet manufacturing and weaving, so they would have been sold at a higher price here in Shanghai. The market sold different fabrics of wool, such as carpets, curtains, blankets, and rugs, not to be mistaken for fur trade, because woolen goods were made from sheep most commonly. Fur trade was made out of the skin of animals. Although the market sold products fully made, it also sold just wool, in case anyone wanted to buy it to make their own products or use it for other resources. Because of the way the woolen products came to China from Central Asia, it was more common to see rich people buying and selling these fabrics on the markets. The poor people or common citizens, similar to the jewelry being sold, the carpets and woolen fabrics would have been sold on tables or hanging to present them fully to buyers and people walking by. As you can see, the Silk Road made massive changes for globalization and for the goods and service industry in many places, especially China. Overall, in this podcast, we examined the background surrounding how the Silk Road came to be and its overall impacts on our world today, as well as how goods and services are transported. We looked at how Shanghai grew as a city through these markets. We also learned about the 3 different markets selling jewelry, wool, and paper, all made an influence in Shanghai and for the people living in it. We learned about the different types of people such as Mongol rulers and Shanghai citizens all came through the Silk Road to buy, sell, and trade. And finally, without markets such as Woolen Works and Paper Place, China would not have been able to obtain woolen fabrics, and without the development of paper in China, the rest of the world would not have been able to manufacture and adapt. Tune in next week when we learn about the history of cheese.